Guys, it's me. I'm back.
What's up, party people?
We're like, Mads, come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of. Let's try that again from the start. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Monster Bass Live. If this is your first time here, I'm probably going to cough a lot. Just get used to it. There's nothing we can do. But I got a great show for you. I really do. We're going to be joined by David Walker. And if you don't know him, you're gonna learn a little bit more about him. I mean, if you don't know him, I mean, where you been? I mean, the man has won over $2 million in tournament fishing, so he knows a thing or two about baits. He knows a thing or two about fishing, and he definitely knows a lot about Z-Man since he's been with them for quite some time. And so we're gonna talk all things Z-Man because, as you know, this month is a very special month. Z-Man, our good friend Daniel Nussbaum over at Z-Man, took over the box, packed it full of goodies, and if you haven't taking a look at it, you're missing out. So we're going to spend some time talking about that. Excuse me. See, there goes my cough again. We're going to talk a little bit about next month's box as well. But first, we released the video. It's been a while. We finally released the video for the trip to the St. Lawrence River. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but we got together with Travis Manson and Epic Eric, and I told them I wanted to take this trip, and I wanted to get the team together, and I wanted to do some epic late season smallmouth fishing, and of course, where better to go than the St. Lawrence. It's unique because it's unlike probably any other body of water in the country because you got a lot of moving water. It was difficult. Let's just put it that way. We had a great time. We got together with those guys. Burley came up. Paul Glass came up. Todd Grubbs came up. Larry Melton. And, of course, Rafi hit the trifecta on that trip. And if you haven't seen it, why don't we do this? Can you cue up give me the next 60 seconds. Watch this, and you'll see what you're missing. We got to spend 2 days up on the St. Lawrence, and literally every boat caught a 20-pound bass.
Feels heavy.
I mean, we were throwing back 3.5 pounders, not even thinking twice. And that's not something that you do every day, right? Literally everybody's catching 3, 4s, and sometimes 5 pounders. Those are giants for a smallmouth across the country. And to do that on a consistent basis across every boat for their very first time is just epic. I mean, you can't ask for something better than that. Well, there you have it. You got a quick little 60 seconds or so, little teaser of the whole video. We broke it into 2 parts. The full video is available on our channel. Give it a watch. Maybe smash that thumbs up button if you like. As always, really proud of our sponsors, Liquid Death, for the show. They keep me hydrated and probably have me run into the bathroom 2 or 3 times today. Let's not waste any time today. This month's box, like I said, the fine folks at Z-Man packed it full of goodness. We're gonna talk a few things having to do with the box. We're gonna, as always, the hotline's gonna be open. What am I gonna give away? Oh, I do have a lot of stuff. I can't do that. That would be a competing brand. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give away $100 worth of Z-Man products for the Super Chat giveaway. You want a shot at winning that? Make sure when I open that hotline, you guys call in and ask some good questions from our guests because we can probably all learn a few things about fishing from them. So let's not waste any time. As I mentioned, our guest today is one over $2 million fishing. $2 million. That's a lot of bank. He finished 14th at the recent MLF stop at Sam Rayburn, and he's here with us for tonight's episode. Let's give a warm welcome to David Walker. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing great. Thank you. I appreciate you stepping out into the car to make sure we had some good service today.
Yeah. I had to because I was like, man, I just know I don't want it to be broke up, and you know how it is anymore. Finding good service is hard to do. Like you got to be a little creative to get some good signal. I don't know. I think it's just so many people using the internet so much anymore that we're kind of overloading the system, maybe.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So you're sponsored by Z-Man.
Mhm.
How long have you been in that relationship with that company?
You know, I'm going to say it's just been like going on 10 years now. I mean, I feel like I knew Z-Man before they were famous. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Z-Man is, you know, like you said, Daniel there and Joey. I mean, there's so many good people there, Z-Man, and for them to have done as well as they have, like they're really, I'm proud to be a part of that, and not just for that reason, but they're just such a good group,
Mm-hmm.
such a nice bunch, and you know, for them to do well, I mean, I think it's awesome because I really, you know, out of you know, there's a sponsor, but it's more like a partnership. You know, it's a friendship, and you know, so we've all come a long ways. I feel like with the Z-Man products and where they are today from where they were. You know, that's just I think it's awesome. It's really a good story. It really is.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying about good people, because it's the same, on from where I sit, because we can work with any brand, but it's really nice when you work with a passionate group of people that treat this like it's like family, and there's some really good people at Z-Man, and so it's really nice when you get a chance to work with people like that.
Yeah, I agree. Great
So
group.
so tell me about, like, you're growing up as a kid. How the heck do you get? How do you decide? You know what? I'm gonna be a professional fisherman.
Oh, I have no idea because I get asked that a lot. Like, how do you get that job? And, you know, I think it's like anything else that if you have a passion for something and you want to make a living doing that, you kind of got to find your own path
Mhm.
because you never know. You know, people start at different levels. You know, some people may have the both time and money. And I always tell everybody, you want to be a pro fisherman, you need two things, time and money. And some people may have that, other people may have neither, but you can still make it happen. It's just a matter of how bad you want it.
Sure.
And, but as a kid, I was never and then I never even thought there was a pro fisherman. I didn't know what that was. Um, I didn't fish tournaments. I was just a fisherman. I fished a lot. I hunted quite a bit as well because I grew up in Michigan. And
Mm.
so fishing is seasonal, being as there's a lot of time of the year where your lakes are froze
Sure.
over and creeks. And so you do what you can to be outdoors. And so, but fishing was something that was my main objective. And I'd fish for whatever. And so I never had that career path in mind. It's just something I basically started pretty late. Like first tournament I ever fished, I was working at a factory, 20
Right.
years old. They had a little aluminum boat, and me and one of the guys from the factory went and fished the tournament. So I mean, it wasn't a career path I had. That's for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. And were you married at the time?
No, no. I mean, when I was, God, I was. Let's see. Like I said, I was probably 20 years old when I fished my first tournament. I had a 14-foot aluminum boat with a 15 horsepower tiller, pull start engine on the back, and we went out and fished a tournament. And I hear stories about guys first, they did great, knew this was for them. Mine was the complete opposite of that. So we went and fished this tournament. I had 2 or 3 rods and reels, a little folding up style tackle box with a few random lures in there that were my favorites. And the weather was terrible. So I had one of those yellow rain ponchos on, and there was all these bass boats there. And I was just blown away by what the amount of equipment these guys had and what was going on. And they called their boat number. We took off, and everybody's racing by. We went out there. We fished about half the day. We never caught anything. We about froze to death. We came in early and quit. He said, I'm never fishing one of these things again. And I was just the opposite. I was intrigued by what was going on here that I didn't know anything about it. And so being a fisherman, I wanted to do more of that. So right after that, I found at one of the little local fishing tackle shows, there was a club there, and I signed up as because I just used my little aluminum boat, but I just signed up as an amateur in it and joined the club, and that's where it started.
Wow, it's amazing. Yeah, it's funny how I remember we were talking with Kevin Van Dam on the show, and he didn't even place in the money. I think he said for his first, God, what did he say? Like his first 3 or first 4, he just like nothing. And it's amazing. Like you said, like if you're passionate about something, you just got to stick with it. And
yeah,
and definitely in this sport, you need to have a lot of money because it's not something that you can just, hey, I'm just going to go, I'm going to go fish on tour.
no, it's definitely gotten to be more and more expensive. But, back when I first started doing this in the 90s there, fishing some of the bigger tournaments, at that time, they were expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
But, obviously, the price of everything has gone up. So doing it, the risk factor is still there. It's probably greater now than what it was, but there's always that, you can never be going into any type of, I mean, this is a business for me. Yeah. Going into a business, if you feel like you're going into a business with zero risk, I don't know what business owner will tell you they've ever done that. So it,
for sure,
and many times too, that can motivate you as well. Knowing that you have to do well.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these you may, if you didn't have that risk, it'd probably be easy to just quit early or not go or not care how you do. My first full year of fishing as a pro full time was the fall of '98. I quit my factory job. That was $8.50 an hour I was giving up there, and I was going to fish all the tournaments. And so my first tournament, back then we paid deposits, and then right before the tournament, you'd pay the remainder of the balance for the entry fee. I had to win enough money at the first tournament to pay. I paid my deposits, but I didn't have any money to pay the remaining balance. So I had to win enough money at the first tournament to pay the balance to fish the second tournament, and so on. That was so, it can be a motivation to be that risk as well. So that's kind of like people tell you, if you wait till everything's financially secure to do, or, something like that, many times that may never happen.
Never happens. So I'm sure there's a bunch of guys sitting at home that are either, just starting out fishing weekend tournaments or whatever. And some of them are contemplating, I want to make a go at this. What piece of advice you give to them besides have a lot of money in the bank?
Well, like I said, I didn't have any when I went into it. So this wasn't something that I knew I was passionate enough about it. I wanted to try it. I wanted to know. And so for me, I took that risk, and it paid off. And I think too, one thing maybe people need to know is there's a big difference between tournament fishing and fishing.
Mm.
And people that love to fish may very well not like to tournament fish. And
Why's
I
that?
think a lot find that out. They love fishing, they love being out there, love catching those fish and stuff, but it's a whole different environment when you're in a tournament. When there's traveling, you're going to places you don't know, like the lakes I were going to. Back then, I'd never been to any of those.
Mm.
Like I said, I grew up in Michigan. Most of the events we fished were on reservoirs. Um, totally different way of fishing than what I was normally have done, fishing natural lakes and rivers and stuff like that. We don't fish reservoirs. And so I was really in the weeds. But I like to fish and I wanted to learn it. And I always knew that, the best way to get better at something is to put yourself in that, out of that comfort zone. Like if you go to the same little pond that like the back of your hand and catch fish there every day, it doesn't really make you that much better. When you put yourself out of that, you put yourself in that pressure situation, you put yourself in unfamiliar territory, that'll make you better. That's what'll make you better at this. Not doing the same thing, the easy part. That anybody can do that part. The part that's hard is when you take yourself out of that comfort zone, basically jump out of the pan and into the fire. And that's where you'll get better at this. That's what it'll take.
What is the difference between fishing a reservoir versus a natural body of water?
Well, there's a lot more factors that go into a reservoir because reservoirs are man-made.
Right.
Natural tend to be like a good example of is an Okeechobee. So
Okay.
when you look at Okeechobee, it's kind of a bowl or a dish. A deep spot tends to be in the middle of it, and it kind of tapers out from there. You fish a lot of grass. There's not a lot of different features. Reservoirs, on the other hand, have extremely deep water. You do a lot more rock, wood, that type of dock, fixed docks. And you deal with changing water levels and water colors. Natural lakes don't tend to change color very quick, and very seldom do you get a rapid rise or fall in the water. Whereas those reservoirs, definitely you deal with that. Generation, power, like you deal on the TA lakes, things like that. Dealing with, when they're pulling water, when they're not pulling water, learning about that business. Natural lakes, you don't deal with that. But on those reservoirs or man-made places, there's a lot more factors that go involved that are important, not just sort of, they're important as to when and where to go fishing at.
All right. Good knowledge. Let's talk a little bit about Z-Man for a minute, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So,
Not
and then I'm going to take some questions because I know we've got a couple. And while I'm sorting out these baits that came in this month's box, we had a question from someone that wanted to know, what's your favorite Ned rig bait and why?
I'm going to say the original Ned rig is going to be my favorite bait out of all the Ned rig baits. We've got quite a few now. Yeah, but the original one, boy, I mean, it's the OG, right? I mean, that one has caught so many fish, and it is so simplistic, but for whatever reason, man, that's just one of those. That's an M&M to the fish. Like they cannot you just got to have one, And to me, I think probably the funniest part was when we first seen some of those. So Daniel had some, and some of the original ones were made off of bigger baits, and then the first ones that we had injected, some of the prototype ones, was like, I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, this is as nothing a bait as you could possibly invent. Like it's just, but man, as soon as you put it in the water, you're like, I don't know what the attraction of this thing is, but I can tell you what, it is undeniable. Those fish, and it seems like all kinds of them will eat it. Smallmouths obviously love it, but largemouth, spotted bass, you name it. I mean, and you can see the difference. I've used it trout fishing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's surprising how many fish will bite that. And there's a lot of theories about, you hear people saying, well, it looks like this type of forage or that type of forage, but those I don't know, but I do know that it gets bit, and that's what's key to me.
Sure, sure. And for those at home that don't know what you said, the original Ned rig bait. What is the
Yes.
original Ned rig bait?
So it's just the TRD. I mean, that's the real original TRD bait.
Yep.
We've got the big ones and we've got the TRD craws and the bugs. I mean, we've got a lot of different shapes now, but the original TRD, the turd, man,
Yep.
that thing, there's no doubt.
For sure. For sure. So I don't know how familiar you are with Monster Bass, but what we do is, we typically curate a box of baits based upon the area of the country where you live and fish, right? Because what you're throwing in Florida right now is not the same baits that you're throwing in Michigan.
Sure.
And during the winter months, we love to put together takeovers because it's something that people can look forward to, especially, if you're in Michigan, like you said, and, it's frozen over and you can't fish. So when we partnered with Z-Man, we put together a bunch of baits and all that all paired perfectly together. And so I'm gonna show you a couple, and I'd love to get your thoughts on these and tell me about how you go about fishing them.
Okay.
And the one for me that was in the box that I know the least about was the Willow Vibe.
Right.
Paired with a finesse shad. Now, the Willow Vibe. When would you fish this? And tell me like why I should have this like in my tackle box and when I should be throwing this.
Okay. If you've ever tried that Willow Vibe, the amount of vibration off of that bait, and it's a very quick vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. It looks like it's like the original Chatterbait, but like on your Monster drink there. I mean, this thing is like off the chart. And so what it does is it's vibrating so fast that it creates a lot of lift. So what you can do with that is, so like if you're throwing that 3/8 one and you've got that thing on the back of it there, and whatever trailer you want to put on there, that thing, you can reel it slowly and it will stay near the top. It's amazing how much lift that bait has. So if you're needing to keep the bait near the surface, say you got a lot of schooling fish, you can reel it slow, but it still stays near that top of the water column. Or if you're fishing an area that, say you're in a river or maybe just backwater areas where it's very shallow, but it's kind of static, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You got a horizontal place you're trying to fish and there's very little depth to it. That Willow Vibe will do a great job of same for the same reason, because it has so much lift to it. It'll keep that bait up near the surface. Now, if you're going to try and fish it deep, you're going to have to reel so slow. I don't even think you could do it. But if you're trying to fish that bait near the surface, for whatever reason it may be, maybe over top of some grass, or you've got a little water column there, like I said, the other, in the rivers or creeks and things like that, where you just don't have a lot of depth, that's when that Willow Vibe was going to work for you. But if you ever try it, you'll be amazed at how fast that blade vibrates. It has got a quick vibration.
And what rod would I typically pair this up with?
So that the Willow Vibes also has more of a light wire hook to it. It doesn't have a bigger gauge hook to it, and it's more of a finessey looking deal because. So I'm going to use maybe a medium action rod. You're not going to use something particularly stiff, because even though the bait 1/4 ounce or 3/8, 3/8 is easy to throw, but still, because you've got that lighter hook to it, you don't want to overpower that bait with a really stiff rod. So kind of let the fish get it. It's basically that swim bait sort of profile, like softer actions for, people use for swim baits. That's the rod I'm going to use, that same little willow vibe.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick break here. So for everybody at home, I feel like it's time for a golden ticket. And if this is your first time watching, remember, every Monster Bass box comes with a golden ticket, individually numbered. I'm going to call it out. It's just like Willy Wonka. I call it your number. Send an email to me at marketing@monsterbass.com. We'll load up a box full of goodies out of my garage. I've been advised by marketing I should stop calling it a box of crap, considering it's really not. It's a box full of really nice fishing gear. My girlfriend refers to it as a box of crap because it's just loading up the garage, and she walks into the garage and all she sees is boxes and boxes of fishing tackle, and she wants it out. And so that's why I went and bought Outlet Bait and Tackle, so we can start shipping that stuff out to their warehouse and they can start selling it to you guys. So the first golden ticket number is R9396M6203. If you've got it, congratulations. You scored yourself some stuff. Remember today's super chat. First of all, thank you, Scott Hughes and Camp Waffle Stomper, one of the better names that I've heard, for your super chats today. Every super chat and every question's worth 10 entries for today's super chat winner. So let's go to the phone lines really quick. David, would it be okay if we took a call from a listener?
Sure. No,
right.
That'd be great.
Great. Let's go to the phone lines and let's see what we got here. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from and what's your PB?
Hello, guys. This is Fishing with T-Rex, my PB 7.9. I'm in Lemoore, California, and that's my sticker Rick's grabbing off the wall. Yes. I love it.
Thanks for sending it to me.
Oh, you're welcome. It needs a little work. It was my first rough draft.
Oh, that's great.
There's a little too much going on, I think.
I don't know. I mean, anytime that you see a Tyrannosaurus Rex in a boat, I would say there's a lot going on.
That's an unusual.
So that's how I do it. Unusual.
So T-Rex, you got a question?
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good.
I sure do. I'm actually doing great. I just started tournament fishing this year in the SinCal Elite Bass Series. And yeah, I'm used to fishing like aqueduct, rivers. I have a little experience on lakes, but we went from pre-fishing last month where the weather was 60, 70 degrees. The day of the tournament, it dropped all the way down to like 32. And the bass went deep. And I'm not used to fishing like real deep waters. What would you recommend throwing?
Well, obviously, if you're going to fish deep, you're going to have to change up kind of what you've been throwing. The good news for you is nowadays, the electronics we have are unbelievable. It's so good. So finding those fish when they reposition like that is so much easier to do. With the forward-looking sonar, like I've got on that Lowrance, that live, scope, or the active target transducer on there. That thing it really opened my eyes to what fish are doing. But as far as baits go, it depends on how deep and how close you can get to the fish. And what I say about that is, a lot of times if you can get over the fish, many times that's when using the traditional sonar, like a 2D sonar, you can just get over top of the fish and drop down to them. The Ned rig works great for that. But if you're dealing with maybe a drop shot, you could use any number of the Z-Man products for the drop shot on there. But one of my favorite ones to use for if I'm trying to catch a big fish and he's out there in deeper water would be a football jig. Z-Man makes a good football jig. I helped him design it. And so that right there is a great bait to use when those fish move out there deep. 3/4, 1 ounce, depending on how deep you're going to fish. I use the 1 ounce one most of the time. And that's just to cast it out, drag it along the bottom. Very similar. If you've ever fished a Carolina rig before, that's pretty much how you're going to fish your football jig. Make a long cast with it, let it get to the bottom, pull it along the bottom, and just kind of inch it along there. And that's why a football jig has the head shape that it does, is because it's designed to crawl along the bottom. You keep it right on the bottom instead of lifting it and letting it drop. Basically try to keep it in contact. So pull it along at a pace where you can always feel the bottom. If you're pulling it too fast, you'll know it because it'll come up off the bottom, drop again. So as long as you can maintain that feel and that contact, then you're fishing that right.
Is that why you like the 1 ounce?
I do. It makes it where you can pull it along easier, especially if you're fishing deeper, because your line creates a lot of drag.
Right.
And so when you're pulling that, that line is also wanting to create lift so that it will bait up there. So the further away from you are, the lighter a bait feels, if that makes sense to you. Like a 1 ounce jig close to the rod feels really heavy. On a long cast, it doesn't feel so heavy anymore, and that's all that drag in that line.
That's good feedback.
That makes sense. Yeah, we tried drop shotting them. We tried vertical jigging them. They just weren't having it that day. But, going back again March 5th to try it again.
Yeah, definitely give that
never give up.
Try. Yeah, that's right. Don't because fishing is so crazy, man. And one bit of advice I can give to you, like anybody new that's getting into the fishing, fishing is really not particularly a science, the fishing part of it, because there's never those absolute answers of if this, then that. Fishing has got a lot of art into it, and it's so I think that's what's good about it, is that it's always there's always something to figure out. There's general things you can do that tend to work, but there's never any absolutes. And that's what I think is what makes fishing so cool, because those times when you do figure it out, when all those pieces come together for you, man, it's just nothing like that day on the water.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything you told me there. I'm definitely going to pick up some of those jigs.
Yep.
Definitely going to get the 1 ounces. I've never had a.
Yep. Get those and get the heavy ones. So you'll like them.
Sounds good. Rick, thanks for putting that sticker up behind you. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm going to
I love that hat you got on there, Rick.
Oh.
And Dave.
Well,
I like that Z-Man hat.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something there, T-Rex. It's funny how we call everyone by their YouTube channel name. Anyways,
if it's Tom.
No, I know your name. I got these hats, and they just came in. Like I didn't even know we ordered them, and I'm gonna put them on the site, or I just put them on the site before the show. Actually, I should look into the camera. All right, for everybody watching, if you like this hat, you can buy them on the website for $22, or you spend $40 on the site today, and you'll get this hat automatically for free, no promo code needed. But it's only good till the end of the day. So if you want this hat, and there's only 33 of them in existence, better act quick. Go spend $40 on the site, and you get this hat for free. Yeah, it's a shameless plug. Something I have to do. The guy that runs the company.
You do it.
Yeah, the guy that runs the company told me if I don't do it, that I'm fired. So anyway, all right, buddy. Well, listen, I'm gonna have Rafi follow up with you because I've got an idea for you that's gonna get you down here to Los Angeles to come take us fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're interested.
Well, I'm going to be the end of March. I'll be in Louisiana, but after that, it should be all right.
All right. I'll tell you all about it when we talk.
All right, bro.
All right, man.
You guys have a great day, David. Thanks for answering my questions. I really appreciate it, and good luck to you in your future tournaments.
Yeah, you too. Good luck on those fish.
All right. That was fishing.
Thank you.
That was fishing with T-Rex. David, we have another question. What are your favorite colors for very clear water?
So once again, there's never any absolutes, but what I tend to use in clear water is more natural colors or something that has some translucence to it, or so I start worrying about the details. Baits that have a little more visual appeal, because fish tend to feed. Clearwater fish are much more of sight feeders. Eyes quite a bit more. Fish that are used to not dealing with clear water, it's more of a feel for them. So when I get into that cleaner water, that's when I'll start paying more attention to the little details in the bait. So, but as far as that goes, like, say I'm using one of my flipping jigs or one of my little finesse jigs or something, black and blue is a good color jig. I don't care what color water you're fishing in. It just is. And, same goes with, there's some standard colors like white spinner baits. They seem to be good no matter what the condition. Chatterbaits, same deal, like a green pumpkin chatterbait. It seems to work no matter what so, but that being said, if I'm dealing with the really clear water, that's going to be what I'm going to start thinking in my head. I really need to tone the colors down, maybe get a little more natural in those colors. Start worrying about what color flake is in them. You know what I mean? Start getting details there. That's when, but you also got to let the fish tell you. You know what I mean? If you're not getting any bites, it's kind of a simple solution. You're either in the wrong spot or you're throwing the wrong thing. Sometimes it's both. So you don't know for sure. But the best way to figure out if you're in the wrong spot, try a few lures. Maybe try sometimes you can change the color. Sure. It may help a little. Usually it's not the total difference maker, but that's not always the case. But usually changing your baits up a little bit, giving that a try, then moving on to the next spot. But you always got to let those fish tell you, this is what we really want today. And sometimes you can be stubborn. And man, I tell you what, I've made a lot of money being stubborn, and I've also lost a lot of money being stubborn. So it's one of those double-edged swords that sometimes you got a bait that you're just convinced this is what they want, or usually it's you that you're convinced that that's what they should bite, but not always the case.
Sure. Speaking of mixing things up, let's talk about the cross-eyed chatterbait.
Yeah.
When would I throw? Why would I throw this one over just a standard chatterbait? Like, what's the? I know the difference, but tell us what the difference is and why you would fish one versus the other.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of chatterbait. Used it for a lot of years. Caught lots of fish on it. But like I said, I go to different places all around the country. I fish lots of different types of cover. I fish a lot. And so baits that are versatile are very important to me. And to me, the chatterbait, the only time that I felt like it really had its Achilles heel to me was when I was trying to fish it around cover that wasn't grass. Like if I'm going to fish on laydowns or docks or marinas, you can do that with a chatterbait. But man, there was nothing more frustrating than to cast that underneath a dock and there's a rope hanging there.
Mm.
Or if you come up to a lay down, I'd lay my chatterbait down, pick up my spinnerbait, and then use it. So my whole idea was I needed to find a chatterbait that I could fish around my cypress trees. I could fish it around boat docks with ropes. I could fish it around lay downs. I could fish it around that wood, that solid cover that when you're fishing a chatterbait and it gets hung in the grass, you just rip it out and it comes right through, much like a lipless crankbait would be, very similar to that. But when you get around a hard target, you're stuck. And the cross-eyes chatterbait is the answer to that. So it does a great job. I'm very happy with how that bait came out. As far as its vibration, has a great feel. Vibrates as soon as it hits the water. It starts working. And has the Aberdeen style hook in it, which I think holds fish really well. That's one of those hook styles that tends to really get into fish and stay there. But what really makes it unique is those 2 wire. Everybody calls them weed guards, but they're not for weed guards. Like if you look at it and think, well, I don't need weed guards on chatterbait. Those are for what I'm telling you. What before was about hard targets, ropes and docks and wood and cypress trees and things like that you normally get stuck on. The cross-eyes chatterbait will come through that because it is designed to keep that hook point from digging into that wood. So that's what really, it's a really cool feature that I'm super happy with how that bait came out.
I learned something new.
Yep. And one thing that I will tell you about it is because I tinker with baits a lot, like, just something that I like to do is try to, I used to make a lot of my jigs. I used to make them homemade and stuff like that because mass produced ones never really seemed to fit the way I wanted it, just so. And so with this cross-eyes chatterbait, it was something that I was working with other chatterbaits, but then when we created this one with those wire guards, I wanted it to be that. So it's a coated wire. And if you look at them, you can move them around. They'll bend. You can put them anywhere you want them. And I wanted it to be that way specifically because depending on yourself, you can customize it. So those weed guards are not fixed. Those wire guards, you can bend them. You can bend them up more. You can bend them down less. You can bend them out wider. So depending on how thick the cover you're dealing with is, you can adjust that to make sure, say it's getting stuck, you can bend those up and out just a little bit more. You catch a couple fish on them, they're bent up, put them right back into place. If you feel like you're not around that much cover, you can bend them down to where they're really not in the protecting the hook at all. So that's what I thought was key about those is, and one thing, if you get one and you want to bend those, be sure to keep those weed guards basically more out wide. So you put the hook in the middle of it. I don't have the guards there. So if you've got the guards there,
so bend them out this way.
Bend them out a little bit wider because to protect the hook point, what happens with a chatterbait is say you cast it over a log and you reel it up to that log. When the bait hits the wood, it rolls over and then the hook point sticks into the wood. The little guards on there, when it starts to roll over, they prevent that bait from rolling over. It's not to protect it from something above it coming down onto the hook point. To protect the bait from turning over sideways and then the hook point digging into the object. So out to the side is better than up above it.
Gotcha. So you want to make like a V with them.
Yep, that's right. So you want them at a V out to the sides of the bait, not crazy far, but just to the point that so they don't have to be sticking up way above the hook point. They just need to be slightly above but out to the sides is what's important to keep that bait from turning over and getting into that, whatever it is you're fishing, whatever object it is. And then.
Uh-oh. 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 Well, we're waiting for David to come back. It's time for the golden ticket. Are you ready? Let's go. I1493Q4591. If you won, email me, marketing@monsterbass.com, and we'll hook you guys up with a box of goodness. Yeah, lots of suspense, Can't read the golden ticket numbers. I don't understand, Douglas. Why can't you read the golden ticket numbers? Should be able to. It's right on the screen. Speaking of Bethany, yeah, she's cool. We've got a caller. I mean, I guess we could take a caller while we're sitting here waiting. Oh my God, we got a couple of them. Hold on. My phone is blowing up. Okay. Yes, I was serious. Go to the website, go to the store, spend $40. You'll get the hat for free. It'll automatically drop it into the cart and you're good to go. Looks like David's back.
I'm back.
All right.
I'm back. Okay. So anyway, but that's what's important about those little wire guards on there. They're not to keep it from getting hung in the grass. It'll do that, but it's really, if you get around places where you're kind of afraid to throw an open hook, that's what it's for.
Okay. Dropping the knowledge. I'm learning so much today. I was going to go to the next bait, but I need to make sure I take this call before his mom calls him in for supper. All right. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from and what's your PB?
I'm from Georgia. And my PB is 9.8.
Wait. Say what? Bro, what are you doing? Oh, don't make me hang up on you, Brendan.
Can you hear me now?
No. Oh my God.
Let's see if I can.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Well, this isn't a Verizon commercial, buddy. Just make it work, okay? Listen, if David Walker is sitting in his car because he wants to be on a good, he wants the show to be good, why can't you do the same? Show some respect for the man.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. This is not acceptable.
The service out here. It's horrible.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
Yeah.
You got a
All right.
Do you have a question for Mr. Walker?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, tell me.
So what was it like fishing your first big tournament?
Oh, that was really a lot of fun, to be honest with you. And it wasn't like I did all that great, but it was sort of one of those moments where you're like, okay, this is it. I'm really in the middle of this now. Like, and so that's what I think was fun about it was, fishing that big event and, the morning takeoff and the national anthem and the jitters of, man, I hope I do good in this thing. This would be awesome. And so, I think that's what one of the key things about fishing tournaments is it magnifies everything, right? So when you go out and just go fishing, when you catch a fish, it's great. It's fun. That's kind of what you want to do. When you're in a tournament and you catch a fish, it's way more better. I mean, it's just way more exciting for it. And same if you don't catch a fish, if you go out there and you don't catch a fish, well, that sucks. And, they weren't biting, whatever. But during a tournament, it's so much worse. So the highs are way higher and the lows are lower. I think it amplifies everything. That all the experiences are amplified when you're in that tournament situation. Yeah,
I mean, Mike Iaconelli's highs are like through the roof. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure you've watched him break rods whenever he catches like
Oh,
a 4-pounder. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep, and everything's a giant, no matter how big it is. It's a giant. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can relate to the enthusiasm here. I mean, inside, you're tore up. You've seen it before. We've all seen it. Watch a guy land a fish that's on a tournament, and he's literally shaking. Like afterwards, you're just shaking from it. And I don't think I've ever caught a fish just out fishing for the day that I was just shaking afterwards because it was, but like I said, that tournament really will amplify it. And I think that's why some people find out tournament fishing really isn't for them. It's not what they thought it was going to be. And so many people, they'll say to you, like, what do you do for a living? I'll be like, oh, I fish. Oh, that must be great. Just sit back and relax. And I'm like, yeah, no idea.
That's funny. That's
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people when they think fishing, they think sitting on a bucket with worms and a bobber and relaxing. And tournament fishing, from what I've seen and heard, is super stressful but it's also really fun.
It is. It's all of that. It is all of that. That's exactly right. It can be worst day on the water and the best day, and 10 minutes apart.
Yeah. And do you have time for another question?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So we know that Z-Man makes floating Ned rig baits, okay? And then there's other companies that came out with Ned rigging baits, but they don't float. So do you think there are pros and cons of both? Like, I mean, I know the Z-Man ones stand up, which is nice. That allows the fish to see them better. But there's been big fish caught on like the robo worm, which sits on the bottom. So where do you throw those different baits that sink and float on the Ned rig? And why do you throw them?
Well, so what's different about, when it comes to Z-Man baits, they're made out of what they refer to as Elastec. So Elastec, if you've ever had a bait in your hand, you know what it's like. It is incredibly resilient. It stretches a mile, snaps back. I mean, and it floats like on its own without any salt or anything added into those baits. They are super buoyant. Like you can't push them under the water. And so they're definitely a different bait. And be sure to never put Z-Man plastics with anybody else's, or you're going to have a big wad of tar. I mean, them things, they do not play well with others at all. But
I've had that problem.
We all learn it the hard way. Like, don't put them with anything, even just laying together. I mean, just don't let them get around other baits. But I think that's what's really unique about it. But the buoyancy is undeniable. The durability is also something that I think is, epic. Like, if you take one of those TRD, put it on a Z-Man head, and you put a spot of super glue on there. I don't know if you've ever tried to super glue Elastec before, but any of those super glues,
I use Mend It.
They will stick to that Elastec way better than they do any other soft plastics. Like, if you put one of those on there, it's not coming off. You're not going to lose one of those to a fish. Like, you're going to have to break off the jig head and all. You got to lose all of it. You're not going to lose that bait. There's just no way. So I think that right there is one of the key aspects of Elastec. That I think we always talk about how much it floats, but the durability is unbelievable. Like, you just catch fish after fish. Like, you wear the hook before you wear the bait out. And I think that's what's
amazing.
cool. Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing stuff. It really is. So that's why too, you got to know when, like, to use Elastec has its benefits for that, but it's not always the best. You know what I mean? Just like all fishing lures are. That's why we've got garages full of fishing bait is because one, one doesn't fit every job, and so that's what's cool about it. But
Hmm.
Elastic B is one of those things that when we first started with it, to realize what's the best applications for it. And when it comes to like trailers, like, the jig trailers basically a Ned rig is kind of a trailer. You've got a fixed hook and
Hmm.
exposed like that. And, that Elastec does such a good job with that. And in small profiles, it is, I just think it's best.
Yeah. And it does like I know a lot of plastics stiffen up in the colder water. I've never tried it with Z-Man plastics. Does the plastic stiffen up any in the
Not
colder
at
water?
all. Not at all. Not even none. No, it's amazing. It's how
Right.
stretchy it is and how pliable it is. It just always stays the same. I mean, that stuff has got a lot of action no matter what. And that's what, is great about it is because the little bit of action that you give it, say if you're using one of the worms, finesse worms or something like that, you see that
Hmm.
action throughout the bait, because it is so pliable and it just kind of falls along. If you got it on that willow vibe or something like that, the whole bait is just swimming like a snake. It really, it imparts a lot of action, which I think that's what's so appealing to the fish.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean,
And it
sometimes even less action is also better sometimes, because like whenever you're in like extremely cold water in the middle of, December or whenever,
it
sometimes
is.
less action works, and that means you just work your bait less, and
Yep.
if you want more action, you just work your bait harder, which is awesome about those Z-Man baits.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what's the biggest thing you think you've learned from
That's three
forward-facing
questions.
sonar?
You didn't ask. You only asked for one more. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're gonna
All
let
right.
it slide this time, Brendan, since you've called in so many times. Go ahead. What question do you need?
Okay. What's the biggest thing you've learned from forward-facing sonar?
Oh, I think the biggest thing I've learned from it is just how many fish react to your lures that you never knew did. Follow them,
Mm-hmm.
follow them up to the boat, even react to you in the boat. It's surprising how many fish will come up off the bottom, swim up towards the boat, and go back down. You'll see it all day long. It's pretty impressive how many fish are out there that will follow a bait. Um, they'll commit to it to that point, but not any further than that. So, there's a lot of times, back before we had that technology, that you felt like you were in an area that just didn't have any fish in it because you weren't getting any bites. So that meant there was no fish. We're learning that's not true. There's a lot of fish in places that, but they just don't react. They just don't bite. But there, you see them there. So that I think has been probably the biggest opportunity.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I'll let you guys go. And thank you so much for all the tips and everything. That was super helpful. Thank you.
Hey, before you go, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What did your mom make for dinner tonight?
Well, we had chicken wings, broccoli, and potatoes, like baked potatoes.
All right, but were the wings deep fried or were the wings fried?
They were actually cooked in an oven, but they came out super crispy.
All right. Make sure when when I roll to town, that's not what your mom makes.
All right, fine. I'll make sure you get the honey baked ham.
Oh yeah, hook me up with a ham. Like if she gives me a good old fashioned country ham. Oh. Remember, I live in Los Angeles. The portions are like this. It's gluten free. It's it's all the stuff that whatever People magazine says we should be eating, or who knows. Give me a good old fashioned Southern, like give me some biscuits and gravy and give me some good stuff. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, I appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys.
Thank you
so much. You both have a great night.
All right. Hey, I just want to let you know. The email you sent me. It's pinned to the top of my inbox. I'm a little overwhelmed right now at work, but I haven't forgotten about it. I promise I'm going to get to it. It's literally pinned to the top of my inbox.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Good night.
Yep. Bye.
All right. He's called in 55 times. He's the number one caller. Normally what happens, David, is he'll be halfway through his questions and his mom will call him for dinner. And then he's like, all right, I got to go. And he literally like just up and leaves in the middle of it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah.
55.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we've done that. We've had a few of these shows once or twice. And T-Rex, do I want you to smoke a ham, put a ham on the smoker? What kind of question is that? Of course I do. We've got, what was that? Gerard. Calling me? No, he was calling on my phone. Oh, okay. It goes through. All right, we got one other phone call, and then I'm gonna be super respectful of your time, especially since you went to the car, so I really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's take. We got 2 calls. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from and what's your PB?
Hey, guys. What's up? This is Ramel from Los Angeles. My personal best is a 2-pound largemouth.
Wait a minute.
Off the Senko worm.
You're calling from where?
L.A., baby. You're my neighbor.
Really? Where in Los Angeles do you live?
I'm closer to North Hollywood.
Oh, then we kind of are neighbors.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so your products are great, Rick. I've been starting on Monster Bass recently, and I love all your ideas and all your techniques. And I'm just waiting to catch that big one, or even a little bit bigger than 2 pounds. It's kind of embarrassing. That's my personal best, but hands down, you guys are doing a great job.
Man. Your personal best is your personal best. We all have one. And
That's
we all
right.
have, and our goal is always to break it. So whatever the number is, it's just a number. Who cares?
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for that. So my question here, David, I fish a lot of ponds here that are overfished. People are throwing everything at fish, and I see the bass jumping out and feeding on, shad or minnow, whatever it is that they're trying to eat, literally in front of me, and they're not hitting anything. And I'm throwing everything out. What is it that you recommend that we could try that makes like a different presentation for that fish to even have, a bite?
Right. Usually what happens is if you're fishing against a lot of other people, so that's a pressured situation. So fish are seeing a lot of the same profiles. Normally what you can do is you either got to go one extreme or the other. You got to go a much larger bait than everyone else is throwing at them, or a much smaller. That will give the fish a different look. And you just never know which one's going to work. But if you're fishing from the bank, a smaller bait like that's going to be a lot easier to use. And if you see fish that are breaking, don't always know that that's a bass. Many times you'll see a bass break. It's not, but there's also a lot of other fish out there that will jump or break the surface and what have you. And it may not be a bass, drive you crazy trying to catch them, but it's not a bass. Yeah. So sometimes you can get by that out there breaking. So, and don't think that it's you. Sometimes it may be just the wrong fish you're after, but I would recommend trying it. I mean, we've mentioned that TRD. Get you some of those and try them. You'll be amazed at how many fish that they. I don't know if you've had any or tried those yet.
I do. I have some. I'll definitely keep trying those.
Yeah, give those a try. I tell you, fish on top is probably that's what got me into bass fishing, was like a topwater bait. Once you catch a fish on a topwater, and you just want to catch another fish, like that is probably the most fun way to catch a fish, is to see a fish come up and like that. It's just fun. And so, one thing you can do is try. There's a million topwaters out there. Depending on if you're fishing around, if you got a lot of vegetation, or if it's open water, you can use a hard bait with treble hooks on it. But if it's all grassy and things like that, then something like the pop and shad, or the pop frogs, something like that will work to it. Weightless, like the jerk shads, nose hook it with like just nose hook it instead of, that's something that's cool about Elastec, is you don't have to have a big hook in there and bury it in a bait. You can nose hook it because the bait is so tough. You can still catch it, throw it out there, and it's going to float on top with just that open nose hook in it. And that times on those fish, if they're up there school and things like that. The little slim swims, I don't know if you know those or not. Z-Man makes a little slim swim. They make a 3-inch, and another one that's 2 3/4 or 2.5. Man, I've caught so many fish on that little tiny swim bait. And it's one of those baits that will get you a bite. And once you start getting bites like that, you're going to have a new personal best. That's what'll happen. It'll come out of nowhere, I promise.
Looking forward to it. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Good luck to you. Don't let them win. Keep after them.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, and thanks for calling in, neighbor.
Right on, brother. Good to hear from you. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Oh my God, I didn't think anyone from Los Angeles was on the show besides myself. All right, we're gonna take one more caller, and then we might say goodnight to David. It's late on the East Coast, and he's been in the car for so long. Let's take one more. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from, and what's your PB?
I am Mr. Gambit, of course. I'm calling from near the SoFi Stadium where the Rams took that Super Bowl, like we said, about 2 weeks ago. Officially at this time, I want to let you know that we're celebrating still all month long. Rick has been taking care of the people for the last few months, letting me know that we can get cool gear. And I see he's already giving away a hat this week. He said you get a hat with the box. You can't go wrong with that. Absolutely fantastic. But it is officially Bass Master Week. So we know Rick is going to do something for the Bass Master Week coming up. So we expect something this week. Get on Rick's VIP list. You got to be on that VIP list. If he sends you a text or an email, you get a discount, something that's super and fantastic that you say, oh my God, what the and you can't say that cuss word because it's a cuss word. So, of course, you got to say, oh, my God, it's a cool deal. I think I'm going to do this one. Now, you got some of the coolest guys that come on. David is one of the guys that fished this week in the Bass Pro Tour. He knows already that it was cold as hell out there. Oh, good God, it was cold. And the question I got to ask him is, what did he use to keep himself warm when he was out there freezing his butt off? Because I fished some tournaments in the higher reservoirs out here, boy, in California. It can get really cold. So what did you keep yourself warm with?
Okay, first thing, caller, is don't be nervous. Don't hold back. I know you. This can be difficult at times to speak in front of a lot of people like this. But I think you've done it before. I'm just going to say, I'm going to put that out there. I think this is not a new caller to the show.
David, if I'm being honest with you, he's only called in 8 times. Unlike Brendan, who's called in like 50, whatever we said, 52 times.
He's got to give you turn too,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. No, great question. yeah, when it comes to being a tournament fisherman, another thing you got to have is a lot of gear, and not including just tackle. You better have some way of staying dry so you can stay warm. And what I was using this week, basically my Cabela's guide wear, which is the insulated rain suits. Like this was made for like ice fishermen, and that thing is bulletproof because it is a rain suit, so it's waterproof, which makes it windproof, so you don't feel that wind coming through and just cutting you down. But your hands, they're going to get cold. You wear lots of gloves, and that's about all you can do for that. You just kind of got to grin and bear it. You just got to be, sometimes you just got to be tougher or dumber, however you want to look at it, than the weather is. And so, but that was key. Even running to my spot, I have a full face motorcycle helmet that I wear because, man, it can be so hard to see what you're doing or even tell. You just don't even want to move because the conditions are just so bad. But layer up. And I tell you one thing that's important. If you're going to be out in that type of situation and it's bad weather and water's cold water is dangerous. It just is. So
Why?
if you go, always be conscious of that. Keep some dry, another rain suit, some dry clothes, something like that in the boat with you. Because if you ever do go in the water, you've got to have something else to put on, because once you get soaking wet like that, you got problems. You could really be in trouble. But my guide wear suit did a great job, like it always does. Thermals, you name it. But yeah, bundle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be cold.
That's what I'm talking about, my man. I love that, and it was so good. Now, I know we can't talk too much about the things you do out there on the water, but for sure, the guys know what each other guys sort of fishes with. Now, when you hear that score tracker and you hear that guy's name up there, do you ever think to yourself, oh, my God, I know what this guy is using. He only got 3 or 4 baits he's using. I think I'm going to grab one he's using, and I'm going to catch up to his ass. So he's catching too many damn fish right now, especially when Jacob Willard does his thing. So what do you do when you hear that score tracker and you hear a particular guy that's getting fish after fish and says, oh, what is he doing? Oh, I think I know what he's doing. He's got that down to a science. Let me catch his ass by getting that bait out and getting some fish like he's getting.
That's actually a good question.
I can tell you this. What you need to, if you've ever watched any of the major league fishing shows, like the cup events,
yep,
that is one of those things that happens all the time. And it is one of those deals where, okay, they'll say, all right, Tommy Biffle just got on the score tracker. So you think in your head, well, I know he's flipping or he's throwing a hard head. That's it. That's the only thing he's doing. So then you start thinking to yourself, maybe that's what I should be doing. But when you watch the show, it's almost always wrong. It's unbelievable how many times people are catching fish that you think they're doing this and they're really not. And but it's kind of easy to fall into that trap. But you do place people with their strengths, and I think that's very easy to do. Like if Van Dam's all right, Van Dam just he's caught a 2 and he's caught another 3 and he's got a 4, and I'm thinking in my head, he's got to be catching them on, he's winding something, he's catching them on a crankbait or he's catching them on a jerkbait, gotta be. But which one, how deep, what part, there's so much more to it that a lot of times doing that, you just stumble. You just kind of set yourself up with that. But it's an easy trap to fall into. It really is. And I get that. I feel you on that question, because I was the same way. I was always like, oh, I know he's got to be doing this. And so many times they're not.
And that's good to know, my man. Now, I know you guys got a lot of input on your tour. So, if you guys want to get some more fan participation, you know for sure when you sit down at that meeting, you got your tour events that you're adding, guys. It will be great to see that the Bass Pro Tour adds an average Joe to their tour once a year by a guy who's just a regular stick that's out here who loves to see what you guys are doing, that come into your zone, just like these rookies. There's 2 rookies that came on the DP Tours in the top 10 this week. And I know it would be a cool thing just to get an average Joe that says, what can he do? If he fishes a lot, no matter where he's at, what type of fisherman he is, here's our average Joe added to the tournament to see if he can compete with the Pro Tours. That would be a fun thing, and I bet you'd get a lot of people watching, because I know Bass Pro know they got millions of people giving them millions of dollars every year. It'd be a cool thing to see just some average Joe come out there and compete.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if the average guy wants to go out there and compete and all that. They might think they want to try it, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying on that, but I think we've had this year there was 5 new guys in the Bass Pro Tour, and they're doing well. They're doing well because it's a different format for sure. It's unlike any other tournament. When they're telling you what everybody else is catching, it is definitely different. I like it sometimes and I hate it sometimes. I just tell you that knowing that everybody's catching them and you're not, that can be, boy, that can be some punishment right there. But let's face it, it makes for good TV because we like to watch people struggle,
Absolutely, my man. I'm a big fan of the Bass Pro Tour as well as the other events that show that they come on TV. If they're making good TV, I'll be there to watch, especially with the streaming stuff that's going on. Now, Monster Bass is one of those companies that is going to be booming for the next several years for sure. He's doing new things, and he's buying up all kind of companies. So be on the lookout for Rick Patry. He's one of them guys. He's got a cool name. He gets a cool gear, and he's giving a cool deal. So, Rick, we're going to expect you to do some big things in 2022. Keep up the good work, man. It's good talking to you guys again. And, David, keep rocking out there, man. I'm watching you, man. Don't worry. I've got you on that fantasy list. You guys got fantasy fishing again. I'm definitely going to put you on a few of them this tournament time. So, know that you got a fan that's going to be putting you on his list.
All right, awesome. Appreciate it. And Rick, I think you need to hire this guy. This is your PR right here, no doubt.
That's what they tell me, but he keeps giving away all my stuff. He comes on and demands that I give away a discount or something, and then of course I got to say yes. And
yeah, see, you got to hire much money.
Exactly. That was That was Mr. Gambit. He's got a lot of energy. That man is a grandpa, and he's shy. He's really shy.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Well, good. I love it. Enthusiasm. There's nothing wrong with that. We need some enthusiasm.
So, well, listen. I'm really grateful that you came on. I had a really good time. I learned a lot. I think maybe, you know what? I felt, if I can be so forward, I felt like I was sitting with my dad, and having him tell me stories that you only get because you've done it a bunch of times, and it was, I really liked it. It felt like especially on the cross-eyed jig, spreading it across and why I want to spread it. And it's not a weed guard. It's really this, that was really helpful. And so I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and sharing. You're a big part of the Z-Man family. You've designed a ton of stuff, and I learned a lot today. And so I'm really grateful that you took time out of your day and you went into your car so that you'd have better coverage. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I mean, this is good stuff. When you get into the fishing business, all you think about is the fishing part, and
right.
you dream you're going to be on and stage at a boat show or something,
right.
sometime to describe how to catch a fish, and but doing things like this now, I think it's cool, and it's good because, I mean, look, how else would it was with Tennessee, Georgia, California, all of us got together and talked about fishing here, and with the technology that we have, we need a lot more of this, and everybody kind of get because there's a lot of fishermen out there, and we all need to be working together. And this is it's a great sport, and we need to do what we can to make sure that sport continues on.
100%. 100%. Well, listen, thank you so much. And, maybe we can have you back sometime. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. And I hope it's successful. And we'll talk with you again soon.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, and if you ever want to get out and have a real good Tennessee dinner, come by West Tennessee. We'll cook some. There won't be any gluten-free, nothing. It's a lot of red meat,
extra gluten.
Yes.
Listen,
extra.
Don't tempt me with a good time, because like I showed up at Brandon Coulter's house. I showed up at his front door because he said show up anytime you want. I showed up at his front door. And he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, you told me I could come by anytime. He's like, you're right. He goes, come on in.
There you go. Well, come on.
All right.
That sounds good.
I appreciate it. All right. Listen, man, have a great night. Thank you so much again.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
All right.
it, man.
Take care. Bye. God, that was so great. I have the best job on the planet. Like, it's not even a... Hold on. Drop the damn things. It's not even like it's a job. I get to talk to like the coolest guys. My dad's not alive, but that really reminded me of like sitting and talking with my dad. And I don't mean because he's older. I mean, he's not that much older than me, to be honest with you. I think he's 4 years older than me, to be truthful, because I looked him up. And that was freaking cool. That was really cool. I got a couple things. It's 5:22. We got to be done in 8 minutes, and I got to go to the bathroom. I was going to show you guys a little bit about next month, and I don't know. You guys interested? Look at this bait. Does anyone want to see this thing? Look at this thing. Yeah, right. Is anyone interested in this? It's a wake bait. Curious? Wake bait. It's got a prop on the back. Can anyone tell me what this is? Oof. Yeah, it's a wake and bake. I get it. Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. Who can tell me who makes this bait? I'll give you one if you tell me right now who makes it. It's not a Jackal, not a 13 Fishing. First of all, I want you guys to... First of all, do me a favor. Everybody go down and smash the like button right now. How many likes do I got, Fixie? Who makes this bait? Oh, somebody guessed it. Oh, somebody guessed it. 6 cents. Come on, David. Come on, David. 69 likes. I need to get to like 100 likes. This is ridiculous. I got 75 people still on here. Boys, I'm going to show you one more. Hold on. I can't wait to get these baits in people's hands. I'm upping my game a little bit. All right, so I think I can hold it. All right. First of all, cheers to you guys for sticking with me for an hour and 24 minutes. If you want this hat, you can get it for free. Go spend $40 on the site. It'll automatically put it in your cart and you'll get it for free. Fishing with cotton, you are not correct. Okay. So next month, God, this month has been so amazing. We had Z-Man in the box and it was like killer. It's funny because all the haters out there were like, it's funny how quiet they were. It's funny how quiet they were this month when this box came out, because it was like they said not a word. Next month, all right. So I got an entirely new format. I got a production crew coming to my house tomorrow. I'm gonna film a video Because normally I just drop it on my phone, and we're trying to up our game a little bit. And when I say up our game, like everything from the quality of the box to the quality of the how-to videos. I got Rafi flying down to Florida right now to meet Alex Rudd and the rest of the team to film more content. Because one of the things we're going to do differently going forward is when you think about the boxes, there's 10 different boxes. I mean, I don't know how many there are. And all of you YouTubers out there that do your unboxing videos, here's what you do. You go through the baits, you say $5, you add it all up, and you say the value of the box is $40. But you're basically making an apples to apples comparison. I don't get it. Because it's not just about the baits. It's about what comes with it. Right? If I just send you a box of random crap, like some of the competitors do, then it's just a box of random baits. It doesn't teach you anything. You're just basically getting a bargain bin. You're basically saying, all I care about is how much I paid versus how much value I got. And you don't care that it all works together. And so I want you to look at Monster Bass and think that it's an apples to oranges comparison. Because I'm not going to listen. Everybody knows the market leader's that was a Freudian slip, Monster Bass. Everybody knows the market leader's mystery tackle box. I'm not knocking them. It's great. It's perfect for, like, if I had a kid and he was 14 years old, I'd buy a mystery tackle box. Because you know what? It's cute, it's fun, and it's whatever. And then at some point they're going to grow up and they're going to be like, you know what? I want to take this seriously. I want to become a better angler and I want to crush my personal best. I don't want just a box of baits with some goofy guy that came in 45th place in the apprentice fishing tournament. Like, it's a great marketing thing. I'm not knocking it. But when you're ready to if you're new to fishing or you just want to get better, then you sign up for a company like Monster Bass, who's going to put together a box. I'm going to curate the entire box every month going forward. Like, March is going to be the first month of the brand new beginning. I'm going to curate an entire box. Everything is going to work together. It's a system. You're going to get a book. It's going to have 15, 20 pages. I don't know. And there's going to be multiple lessons in it. And each lesson is going to be taught by someone like Alex Rudd, Mikey Balls, Benjamin Nowak, Chad Hoover. Like, I can go on and on. Like, Sam Moore and the team are down there filming more videos. Travis Manson, Epic Eric, on how, for you, like, I think, Bass University, again, a great company, but it's all done by professional anglers who are fishing out of boats, and they know it so well because they've been doing it for so long that they talk about it as if it's like the back of their hand, and they just they power through it. And it's an hour-and-a-half class. Teach it to me in 10 minutes. Teach me bottom composition in 10 minutes. That's what we're going to do. So next month's box, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that's in it. We're going to teach you about bottom composition, and we're going to teach you using a Yo-Zuri lipless. We're going to teach you about Texas rigging. Mikey Balls is going to teach you about Texas rigging basics. Alex Rudd's going to take you to advanced Texas rigging stuff. And we're going to use products like, where the hell is it? I left it at home. God darn it. I'm going to give you guys a product like this. Can you zoom in on that? Yeah. I got a Tungsten Pro Pack. It's going to give you some flipping weights. It's going to give you the beads you need, everything you need to Texas rig. I'm going to give you hooks. I'm going to give you baits. You're going to get limited edition Missile Baby D-bombs, 6 limited edition colors. Debo came up with a color. Burley came up with a color. You're going to pair that with this, the hooks, and we're going to teach you Texas rigging. I'm going to teach you jig modification. Every month, you're going to get 3 to 4 lessons, and every item in the box is designed to work together. Why? Because at the end of the day, a box full of baits that, like, you got $10 in value. Again, in my mind, that's bargain basement mentality. But if you want to be a part of a community that is designed and wants you to, look, every person that calls into the show, they got their PB's 2 pounds, 4 pounds, 3 pounds. Who cares? It's a number. At the end of the day, we all are chasing that bigger fish, I guarantee you stick with me for a year. I'm going to help you crush your personal best, because every box is going to have lessons. Every box is going to be carefully curated, and it's all going to pair perfectly together. Everything in the box, every single month going forward, is going to work together, right? Next month, we're dropping the new Alex Rudd. Alex Rudd dropped 4 new colors of his square bill crankbait. We're going to teach you how to use it. You're going to get more tungsten. You're going to get more components. We're going to talk about jig modification. I'm going to give you 3 different jigs. And I'm going to give you a Queen's Tackle Switchblade. We're going to talk to you about advanced jig modification, when to modify your jig, when to turn it into a bladed, when to fish it, when to just throw it and drag it along the bottom. I can go on and on with this stuff. But I'm really passionate about what we're doing. I'm really passionate about differentiating ourselves from all the other boxes that are out there. I watch every unboxing video from all the other brands, and everybody does the same thing. No disrespect to the YouTubers out there that are making a living out of doing unboxing videos. I love it. Up your game. I challenge you to up your game. Because at the end of the day, if all you're going to do is unbox and be like, this bait sucks, you haven't done anything to provide value to a consumer other than your opinion. It's like me sitting here drinking this water saying it's the best water. If I don't think it's the best water, I'm not going to say it. This is, going forward, our boxes will not be just about, hey, you got 7 items worth $43. No. It's about, I'm giving you a box full of baits that are carefully selected, and I'm going to teach you these 4 things so that you can become a better angler, so that you can crush your personal best. And when you do, I hope you share it with me. I hope you share it with the Monster Bass family so that we can celebrate you, so that we can put you in the magazine. Because that's right, it's a magazine. It's not just a little card that says, here's your 7 baits and here's the price for each one. No, it's not what it is. We're going to give you QR codes to every video. We're going to break it down. Heck, what's his name? What's his name? Someone remind me in the chat. He loves to wear a Tennessee Volunteers hat. You know who I'm talking about. He's actually in this month's box. Every month, we're going to have Learning with a Legend. We're going to have Learning with a Legend, where we're going to take one of the legends of fishing, and they're going to talk to us about the technique that we're focused on this month. In March, it's going to be Texas rigging. April, it's going to be Carolina rigging. May, it's going to be drop shot. June, topwater, and so on. All of our boxes, we're theming them out. We're theming them out every month, and we're going to give you the video content. We're not going to charge you like Bass University. It's going to come as part of what you get with a Monster Bass subscription. I promise you. We are stepping up our game, and my commitment to you is that you're going to love every piece of bait that comes our way. I'm not going to take chances anymore. I took some chances in 2022 or in 2021, and I swung and I missed on like 4 of them. Not going to do it. So my last thing, and I'm going to jump off the soapbox. If you are going to be in Texas, May 14th, 15th, and 16th, we're going to have a meetup in Texas outside the Dallas area. We're sponsoring a fishing tournament in conjunction with Veterans Creed in support of veterans. And we're also in conjunction with the Hickory, the police department there. And we're going to have, there's going to be a big fishing tournament. They've got about 220 boats anticipated now. We're going to get a house. We're going to have a barbecue. We're going to fly some people in. We'll see. I think that it's going to be a great opportunity. Rafi's planning a big barbecue. We would love to see all you guys show up. We'll barbecue. We'll have some, adult beverages. Cheers to you guys. And I would love to, meet each and every one of you. And then my last thing before I give you the two golden tickets. I'm so confident. Ooh, marketing's gonna get so mad at me. I'm so confident in what I'm telling you about. We're putting together a box, and the fact that it's gonna help you, whether you're new to fishing or you just want to get better. I'm so confident that I'm gonna drive around the country. I'm gonna be Cy Sperling. That's dating myself. So only the old people watching this know who Cy Sperling is. Fixie, you know who Cy Sperling is? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so I don't know. I own the company, but I'm also a client. Hair Club for Men back in the 80s. Anyway, I'm so confident in what I'm saying that Monster Bass is putting something together that is going to help you become a better angler. We're going to prove it by sending me around the country. I'm going to fish with the same people that are creating the video content designed to train you guys or teach you guys how to become a better angler. We're gonna put it all on film and we're gonna show. Because listen, I'm not the best angler on the planet. I'm pretty good, but I can get better just like you guys. And we're gonna put all the lessons that we put on video and give to you guys to the test. And we're gonna put me on film and show you guys what the results are. So I'm really excited to share that with you. I thank you guys for tuning in today. I thank you guys for your support during the Z-Man month. Z-Man's a great company. Great people, make great products, and I'm really proud that they chose to partner with us. They've never sponsored a box like this. Hopefully we can do it again next year. Again, if we don't, let's keep in mind, Z-Man's a tough company to pull this off with because they don't make all the hard baits. They've got limited ones, and we got to figure out how to make it work, and maybe we can do that. So, let's bust out some golden tickets. You ready? C4-841B1685. Cheers if you got it. Hold on. Me too, bro. Me too. You should send us to fish with a team. Listen, bro. All you gotta do is show up. I'll give you a free place to stay, free food, and free beverages. Fishing the Lone Star. Was he in here? Oh, he is. The Hickory Creek Police Department. That's right. That is right. Bring the beefer. How does Fish in the Southeast know about the beefer? Rafi's got one of those beefers. Anyway. Oh, fishing with Gramps. I'll be on the water every single box proving what they say works. Oh, Gramps, I've got an idea for you. Make sure you reach out to me. I got an idea for you. It's going to be great. Who won the giveaway bait, Rick Patrick? Who guessed that it was Monster Bass? I don't remember. Anyways, I'll figure it all out. I'm excited for Monster Bass. I'm glad I'm part of this family. Listen, I'm glad you're all part of this family too. Like, this to me is, I think what makes Monster Bass special is the people. And we want to do it special. From whether it's Bethany and Katie and Jennifer and Sarah and support, or Davey, who's responsible for the partnerships that put the baits in the box, to Rafi and marketing, or Fix Man in the live streams, or Tyler. We got a pretty darn good team, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And so with that, I'm going to say the final golden ticket number is K8077H1548. And if you want one of these hats, only 33 exist, and I'm not making more of them. If you want it, go to the website tonight, spend $40. It'll automatically drop one of these things in your cart, and you'll get it for free. I even put up with Frank's Fishing. That's correct. Anyway, where else are we going to do a meetup? I'm going to schedule another one for the... Maybe we should let Fishing with Gramps plan one. Maybe we should, instead of me calling Burley and Paul and setting it up, maybe I should just have Gramps pick a date, a location, and a time, or a date and a location, and we'll find the house, we'll rent it. Because I want to do like 5 or 6 of these where we just go around the country and We film it. We have a good time like we did St. Lawrence. And if you haven't checked out that first one, please check it out. It's so much fun. And that's what we'll do the next time when we show up somewhere else. So Gramps, if you want to do it, I'll put it to you. Plan it, or you tell me when and where, and we'll start putting budget behind it, and we'll make it work. We got the next one's coming up in Texas, May 14th to 16th. And we should get one planned for July or June or something like that. And then we're going to do another fall one. But we should definitely plan a couple of these and open it up and get everyone on board. So, all right, Brendan, you've said that before. Send me the details. We'll make it work. So, all right, boys and girls. It's time for me to go. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Head on over to Burley. I think they're still going. I feel bad because I might have taken up all their time, but I love you guys. Thank you so much. Are we here next week or no? No. Why not? Oh, Fixie's getting engaged. So if his girlfriend's watching, I just fucking blew it. I mean, I just blew it. But Fixie's, we gotta wish Fixie well. He's heading out. She'll never watch this, right? All right, so his girlfriend is heading off to Mount Shasta. Oh, dude.
How much would that suck?
Oh, my God. That would really suck if that one day she's like, oh, I think I will watch Rick on his.
Yeah, right? Oh, my God. That would be one day that she watches. Oh, well, whatever. I don't care.
I'm starting to feel bad. All right, we're not going to be here next week because Fixie's going off to get engaged. And I'll do a live. Because I'll be back. I fly back in on Wednesday. And I fly back in on Wednesday from the funeral. And then I'm home Thursday. And then maybe Friday I'll fly. I was thinking about going to the Classic. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I apologize to all the kids out there for my potty mouth. And to the moms watching. It's not my MO, I promise you. And to Nastia for ruining your engagement. But hey. It is what it is. He loves you. Just say yes. All right. Anyways, guys. Wait a minute. Praying who's going to get better? Fishing with Gramps still praying that she will get better. What am I missing? She's doing great. Ryan, no, keep your golden tickets. They're good every week. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yes, if we could all keep Gramps' wife in our thoughts and prayers, that'd be much appreciated. I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. Stay tuned. If you haven't signed up for the VIP, sign up now. Go to the website. You'll see the form. If on the last day of the month, I'm going to have 2 special offers. One for subscribers and one for non-subscribers. You're going to love it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.